Welcome to Tusks and Tales, where real hog dogs, real dog men and women, and real stories come together. This podcast is built around hard hunting dogs, family values, and the community that lives this lifestyle every single day. Tusks and Tales is proudly supported by brands and people who don't just sell products, they live this life.
It's a fucking stud.
Let's start out with Value Pack Performance Dog Feed. It keeps our kennel fueled and ready. Consistent nutrition that helps dogs recover fast, hunt longer, and stay healthy doing what they love. If you're looking to switch feeds up or step your dogs up, reach out to me and let's get you the performance feeds you need at a price you can afford. Next up, we got Southern Bayou Farm Feed and Supply. It is owned by Mr. Ritchie. It is your go-to feed store in Southeast Texas, specifically Vidor, Texas. They carry dog care products along with plenty of feed options for working dogs and livestock. Good people and a business worth supporting. J Bark Dog Supply, owned by Mr. Brandon Jackson, provides purpose-built gear for hard-running dogs from collars to everyday essentials. This is equipment made by someone who understands what dogs go through in the woods. 2B Hog Dogs, one of my best, run by brothers, Mr. Kenneth Smith and Tequil Smith. They're built on their passion,
don't follow him through the woods,
their grit, and their
I'm
heart.
sure y'all have heard that
They
plenty
truly
from my
love
mom.
the hunt, and they also own some jam-up dogs. The next up we got an important one, y'all, thebestdogproducts.com. It is owned by Dave Critchlow. Focuses on what matters most, keeping dogs healthy from wormers to full-spectrum parasite control. They help make sure dogs are ready when it's time to cut loose. You can use our discount code TNT.
That is some bottom.
Next up, we got Dirty South Calls. That is owned by Mr. Hunter Ledger, one of the beginning supporters, and we can't thank him enough. He delivers proven calls made for hunters who want results, not gimmicks. When sound matters, these calls flat out work. One of our biggest supporters from day one. Y'all give it up for old Boars and Broads, owned by Mr. Ryan Rankin and Mr. Carter Schultz. It is the biggest merchandise dealer in the hog hunting industry, bringing quality gear and apparel to people who live this lifestyle. Save money with our discount code TNT. Next up, we got Hog Turtle Headlamps, designed by hunters for hunters. Keep you and your dog visible and safe when the sun goes down and the real work begins. This is Tusks and Tales. Stories from the woods, respect for the dogs, and a lifestyle we're proud to live.
It's a big ass one.
Inches from the front, down the shoulder, down the side from a lion, just swatting him and open him up, and you've got to get that blood stop first, or if a lion will grab a hold of him and bite him, now you've got 4 great big puncture holes, so you've got to get blood stop in there and some gauze or some cotton to get that stopped, or you may have to have something in there. You have a roll of the tourniquet stuff and make a tourniquet, keep him from bleeding and stuff. But usually on lions, it's either a good claw that'll cut them, or they get puncture wound. Now bears swat so freaking hard that when they get in there, again you'll get a hole that a big long cut in them that's 10 inches, 12, 14 inches long, and you have to get that stopped right away with some blood stop. Get that in there, the blood stop first, and then you can decide how much you want to suture back up and how much you got to leave open for drainage and all that stuff. So not too much do they fall off rocks. Usually if a lion's on a big ledge and they fall off, it's usually mortal. They usually don't survive that. I mean, a lion will back up on a ledge and it may be 60 feet down, or it may be 250 feet down to the other side. And, if they fall off something like that, you usually can't save them from something that way. Once in a while you'll get a broken leg on one, but not very often do you have that. Usually it's it's your tree climbers like Gus is. Gus climbs trees that when they fall out, they'll injure a shoulder or bruise something up or hurt something, or, you can't break a leg if they fall out of a tree. And in Arizona, in my country, we don't have big, tall ponderosa pines down here. We have short junipers and short piñons, and just about any of those that something goes up, I've got quite a few of my dogs that can climb up that tree and get in there with the lion or with the bear. And they'll, like I said, they fall out of that. Sometimes you'll get some injuries on them. I do not recall ever having a broken leg from that, but I've noticed that when we get back home, they're limping, they bruised his shoulder, or they tore, messed something up. So I'll take them in and get them x-rayed to make sure that we don't have a broken bone in there or something. But usually it's just a bad bruise or something, and they'll give them some tramadol and give them a shot, and a week or so later of healing up, they're pretty good. Now, we did have Frosty fell off the flatbed, and she wasn't tied up, she was just loose, fell off the flatbed, and she sheared her right hip bone completely off.
Oh,
so she had to have a reconstruction on it, which we did this before. Usually when they're little, you have some things that will happen, and she can run, but she lost so much speed from having that rear leg sheared like that. I mean, she just lost all of her speed after that happened. She didn't have that. And dogs before that, we've had that happen when they were young, that they would fracture a leg or something. The vet said, we'll just put it in a splint and let it heal. It always seemed like that dog never had the wheels of the other dogs that was in that litter, just because of that fact on those kind of injuries. But that one, when Frosty was pretty much in her prime, when she fell off the flatbed and sheared off that hip bone, and that just took her completely out of the bear stuff. When we're running a lion in the snow, she can still make it to the tree. She's not going to lead the race, but she'll still make it to the tree and tree a lion, but she can't, she just doesn't have the speed anymore from that injury.
Yes, sir. Okay. Well, yeah, that's really all I got on that part. We're going to start jumping into some funner stuff here. I don't even know which one to ask you. I mean, we are limited on time. I hope that I can get you on again potentially in the future. I'd love to hear a lot more. But let's start with some stories. Just tell us a story you'd like us to hear about a mountain lion hunt.
It's some of the things that happened are just nuts, crazy. A buddy of mine that I hunt with now, we've been buds for about 20 years now. I told him many times, man, you need to go with me one time, go catch a lion with my dogs. Yeah, I don't want to do it with dogs. And finally, he went with somebody and seen the dogs. He goes, man, I want some dogs now. So he finally got two dogs that he had bought from a guy in Utah. They were made lion dogs, and he did it right. He didn't try to raise one from a puppy because he has a 40-hour-a-week job, and he knew he couldn't train a puppy to be a lion dog. So my buddy calls me up and says, hey, we've got this lion, crossing the road over here. You want to come catch it? And I said, yeah, we'll come catch it. So told Tony, I said, hey, you want to take your dogs? We'll go over there. He said, yeah, we'll go catch this lion. I said, all right. So we go out there and put the dogs on the lion, and they make a loop around, and they make a big lose. And I'm like, man, what the heck? So we drive up to where they made the lose, and or as close as we could get, and we walk out there and get the dogs. And I'm like, what the heck? So I had Sadie and Trapper out with his two older females, and I said, let me put these two up, and I'll grab Kong and Sally and let them out because they're fresh. And you can let your puppies out. And he had a black and tanny called Topper, and a young dog that he called Reese. And I said, okay, let's let these guys, go, and we'll see what happens. So we get up there where they made the lose, and I'm like, man, I don't know what the heck's wrong. They should find it right there. And I go, see all that open spot across that? I go, they got to be over there. I go, I'm going to walk all the dogs through there. So I'll walk them all through there, and we get to the other side, and they blow up and they leave, and they take off, and they're going around this mountain. Well, they're going around the mountain, and our buddy that wants to shoot the lion, he's trying to make it up to us, and his dad had dropped him off. Well, his dad's driving around the mountain. He goes, I see the lion. He goes, I see the dogs right behind the lion. I'm like, all right. And he goes, where are they going? He goes, coming around the mountain right back to you guys. And I go, oh. So they come all the way back around, and the lion gets up on this big ledge, and my Kong dog goes right up the face of that thing, gets right up there on top of him, and he's fighting with the lion. He comes off that thing, and he just goes rolling down that thing. I thought, oh, he's dead. He died from that. There's no way he'll survive it. I go, my gosh. I go, I lost my dog. So I'm running around to the top with the other dogs to get there, and as I'm running around the side of it, he comes flying by me. I'm like, oh my gosh, he's alive. How can he be alive from that fall off of that ledge? And he goes by me, and Tony's already up there, and the lion's sitting on a rock. Well, this time Kong can get to the lion right to him, and they both pile off that rock, and that lion's got a big bite on Kong, and Kong's got a big bite on the lion, and they're rolling over, and finally Tony gets in there and he grabs him, and the lion runs off and gets in this crack, and Tony's like, Cal, he's bleeding all over the place. What do? I go, is he bleeding laying down dying, or is he bleeding trying to he's trying to get away from me to get to the lion? I go, just hang on for a second and let me come get him. And I get over there, and I'm like, where's that little patch of snow over there? So I grabbed a bunch of snow, and I started packing all his holes in him that he's got lion holes all in his neck and his jaw and his face and everything, and I'm packing them full. And about that time, our other buddy, Justin, is on top of the rock with Sally, and he goes, Cal, he goes, Sally's got the lion, and the lion's got Sally. I can't pull her out of the hole. The lion's got a hold of her. I go, hang on. I go, I've got him. Tony's coming up there, and we're waiting for Brian to show up so he can shoot this lion with his bow. And, this is getting more Western from every second going. It's just getting more and more and more. And finally, he pulls Sally out. Well, the lion's got a hold of Sally, and Sally's got a hold of the lion, and Justin goes, I've got a lion tag. Goes, can I kill it? I go, yeah. So he just pulls out his 9 and shoots the lion, and the lion slides out the bottom of the rock, out the hole in the bottom. And Tony's just like, wow. He goes, that didn't go as planned, did it? I go, no, it did not go as planned. There's not how we wanted this lion to go. I've got 2 of my dogs got just blood holes all over them everywhere. And, we've got a lion caught on a rock, and they pull him off the rock, and then goes down in a crack in a crevice, and they jump in there with him. And, it's just some of those things get south real fast like that. But you hunt hogs, you know how that goes. It goes that way with a hog all the time.
Hello? Yeah, I got you. I'm still listening. I was letting you finish up, but that sounds like it got crazy pretty quick.
Yeah, it was. That was a pretty bad day that day. It was pretty. That was a pretty adventurous day. It was pretty neat. So
what you got for a bear story? You got a good one for bears?
Oh, probably the best one was in 2008. My buddy Bruce bought the governor in Arizona. You have, in some of the other western states, you have this tag. It's called the governor's tag or the auction tag, and you have it for different animals. And you can, like in Arizona last year, we have a governor's tag for a mule deer here. And when they auction that thing off, it goes for like $250,000 to get a tag to shoot a mule deer in Arizona. And you get to hunt 365 days a year, and you can hunt every inch of Arizona that has mule deer in it. Well, the bear tag doesn't usually, it's not exquisite like that, so you can buy it for a few $1,000s. Well, Bruce bought this tag, and he goes, man, we get to hunt August 15th. all the units we want, and nobody else gets to hunt it. We're the only ones in the unit. Like, oh man, this is great. This will be fun as can be. He said, yeah, this is great. So we were hunting that all summer long, tuning up our dogs for the bear stuff, and I mean, just catch it. We'd go in on a weekend and we'd catch 2 bears the first day, a bear the next day, and 2 bears the next day. You know, we're getting our dogs just tuned up going. And my son Josh had been with us almost all summer long. My other 2 boys never really wanted to go. And then after Josh had been on like 4 bear trips up there, and the other boys got to see all the videos. They're like, oh, we want to go, you know. So they started out getting excited, wanting to watch, you know, getting to catch the bears. And you get to harvest a bear that you want to harvest, but you get to hunt and, you know, catch bears and look for the one that you want. So, you know, we're just really training dogs to be better bear dogs, and we're letting them all go. Well, the season opens in the beginning of October in this one unit, and we were going to go hunt that because there's a special bear in there that my son Josh wanted to hunt. And Bruce says, yeah, he goes, we'll go up there and catch that big chocolate boar for Josh so he can shoot it with his bow. And he goes, yeah, we'll do that. So we get in there day one, right off the bat. We catch a chocolate bear, but unfortunately it's a sow, and she's got a little chocolate cub and a little black cub above her in the tree. And Josh's like, oh, great, because the only we didn't catch the one we want. I go, okay. So we go down the road, and we get a rig, and Bruce goes, what do you think? And I go, yeah, let's dump them out. So he dumps his dogs, and I dump my dogs, and I think Brian dumped his dogs, and James dumped his dogs. So we all dump them out right there, and I kept Trapper in because she had run the day before, and I wanted to let her rest that day. And then he'd kept Cougar, was Trapper's grandpa or great grandpa. I think her grandpa. Anyway, he kept him in the box, and he goes, well, I'm going to go down here. The dogs are going around that mountain. I go, okay, let me do some stuff. And we're getting the boys and Duff and getting the truck. And then Bruce took off. And so I come around that corner, and I go up over this rise, and Bruce has stopped right there. He goes, how many dogs you have? I go, I got 1. And he goes, oh, you got to turn him out. And I go, what do you got? He goes, there's a bear running up this way right here. He goes, just across the road in front of me. And I go, you're going to put my one dog on? He goes, I threw Cougar out there. I go, we're just going to put those 2 on? He goes, yeah, they'll free this dog. I said, okay. So about that time, the other dogs were all coming down to us, and they take off. Well, that bear runs way around the mountain and comes back and crosses the road right under us and goes up on the side of this mountain in trees. And we've got Kong, Cougar, Yap, Trapper, Sadie, Booger. No, we didn't have Booger that day. We had Sally, and I don't know, we had about 8 or 9 dogs under that tree, and it's on a real hard sidling hill, and the tree's straight up. And a lot of times a barrel tree on the upper side on a big limb or something, the dogs can see it, you know, they tree real good on it. We get up there, well, this bear's running around the tree. I mean, like a squirrel, you know, it's just running around the base of the tree, like 12 feet up from the dogs. It's not trying to get on a limb. It's trying to come down and get out, and then it's trying to go up, and it's trying to come down, and it's trying to go up. Well, we're running up to the tree to see what the heck. Well, just as we get to the tree, this bear bails out of the tree right in the middle of all those dogs, and there are some tough, rough dogs in the bottom of that bunch right there. I mean, every one but one will grab a hold of whatever's in there. Well, it is, and like I said, this hill's really steep. Well, that bear hits that, and the dogs hit the bear, and it's just a glob of dogs and bear rolling down this hill, and there's just dogs and bear going over and over, and finally the bear lands on his back up, and his belly's up, and he's got Cougar on one ear, Kong on the other ear. He's got Sadie on a foot and another dog on a foot. He's got Yap and Trapper on another foot. He's got the other dogs all stretched out on the other feet, and the bear's just hung. He can't move. He can't get away from them. Nothing. And of all the dogs that would not bite the bear. This blue tick that James had, called her Summer. Well, so it was Bruce's dog. He'd give it to James. And she is in the bear's mouth by that neck.
Goodness.
We're like, I go, they're going to stretch this bear. I go, got to get the dogs off the bear and somehow get Summer out of the bear's mouth. And he goes, what do you think? I go, well, just take Josh and let Josh run up there with your gun and shoot the bear. He goes, can't shoot with his gloves.
I got to give credit where credit is due, y'all. Just give me 1 minute here before we keep. I want to give a quick shout out to the people who help keep Tusks and Tails going. First off, y'all know Value Pack Performance Dog Feed. It keeps our dogs fueled to hunt hard and recover right. If you're needing to switch feeds or want better performance without breaking the bank, reach out to me and I'll help get you set up with the feeds your dogs need. If you reach out to me, I can even get you it for a price that you can definitely afford. Next up, man, we got J. Bart Dog Supply, Mr. Brandon Jackson. Y'all cannot beat his prices, I promise. Solid gear for real working dogs. If your dogs are in the woods, this is equipment built right to handle it. Man, one of my favorite day ones, Mr. Kenneth and Tequil Smith with 2B Hog Dogs. 2 brothers, 1 passion, and some jam-up dogs. Real deal people doing it right, and that's for damn sure. Them are some good people, y'all. Let them know you heard them. Next up is an important one, a very important one, y'all. You want to keep your dogs healthy, we got the bestdogproducts.com for wormers and parasite control, because a healthy dog is a hunting dog. Next up, we got a good buddy of mine, old Mr. Hunter Ledger. He works a little bit of both sides, the duck side and the hog side, but he runs Dirty South calls. There's no gimmicks, just calls that work when it matters. Man, another big supporter of mine that I can't thank them enough is Mr. Ryan Rankin and Carter Schultz with Boars and Broads. They're the biggest hog hunt merchandise dealer, bringing quality gear and apparel to the people who live this lifestyle. Y'all gotta go reach out to them. Don't forget to use that TNT discount. Last but not least, Hog Turtle headlamps built by hunters for hunters, keeping you and your dogs visible when the sun goes down. Thanks for taking this minute with me, y'all. Let's get back to it, but please do not forget to reach out to one of them and let you know you heard from us.
We ran up there and just ended because it was going to end bad for the bear anyway, and we didn't want to have to, leave a bear in the woods that we couldn't tag because we didn't, letting your dogs kill the bear is not a legal method of take, okay? So we had to shoot the bear, and when we get it all done, we're just sitting there saying, oh my gosh, what the heck? Well, Summer gets out, and she does have a big hole in her neck, but at that time it was just the beginning of when the very first Astros came out, and I didn't have a set. Bruce had the very first DC-20 or with his 200 Astro or whatever, and we still ran beep trackers on it. She had a Johnson 16,000 hour collar on her neck, and that was the only thing that saved her. That bear tooth went all the way through that Johnson collar and made a hole, just like you shot a 22 rifle through it. It went all the way through that, and we pulled it off of her and turned on the thing, and it was still beeping. We still had a signal of that collar with that bear tooth all the way through there.
Gosh. See, that's why I swear by them telemetries. I use Johnson telemetry as a secondary. I always put it on my lead dogs, my better dogs. I run 2 collars on them, a Johnson's telemetry and a Garmin TT15X. And I've picked up dogs far. I mean, I don't know the exact distance because they're not picked up on the Garmin, but I mean, it's quite a ways away. So those telemetries.
You can always get that beep out there somewhere, and when it's really faint, you've got to sit there and mess with the thing. You're messing with them like, oh, there's a beep. I hear it's gone. It's way out there, but you can get that way out beep, and you know which way you need to go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, all right, Mr. Cal, we got another one. Now we got to hear your hog story.
Oh, you know what? I don't really know if we ever had any super bad ones on hogs. Well, not there's some spots in Arizona that at one time had hogs in it and stuff, and we had some tough ones to catch in that. But this seemed like just about every hog story, if you get one of them tough little 260-pound fast little boars that can run and cut and slice and dice and do everything on it, those guys are them bad ones. But we used to get into this one spot that had there really were just feral. There were no outside blood in it. I mean, all the hogs there still had big floppy ears, big bodies. I mean, when they got to be 5 years old, they'd weigh 550 to 650 pounds. I mean, they're just monsters. And they have teeth because they're feral, but they're still just, they were red Durox hogs is really what all they were, but they run feral in this spot. And, you'd see a good one and turn the dogs loose on it, and they go in there and get after it, and you'd cut 3 or 4 catch dog loose on it, and he was just so big, he'd just walk off with the catch dogs, and the other dogs in there. And it was real thick salt cedars, tamarack, and, mesquite in that stuff, and he'd go through a spot and he'd just drag the bulldogs off of him, on the side that he'd rake them off on a tree, and he couldn't stop him. And I bet we run that big boar that did that night probably for about 5 hours. So we had the dogs on it till we could finally get in there. And in this spot, you could not have a firearm in it, so you had to stab every hog or have a spear and spear them or something. And none of us had a spear at that time. We just all carried knives, and we finally got to a spot where the dogs could hold him and run in and cut that big old hog's throat. And I remember Mike saying, "We need to take this pig out whole." And I go, "Oh, you know how far we are from any road?" I go, "We're not going to pack this thing out." And he goes, "Oh, yeah, I want to take him out whole." And I said, "That's just too tough of a mess." He goes, "I think I know this little sloth. I can get a boat in there." Well, he went out, got his truck, went home, got a boat, come back in there, and we've got that hog out of there because he wanted to weigh him. And we got him home, and we weighed him, and he weighed 714 pounds. And that was just that was a mess that day that we caught that one. But all my other hog, I don't really have any that I remember going really south, really wild on anything that we ever run stuff on, that we every once in a while, you get a dog cut or something like that, but I never really had anything that was tough where, we lost the bulldog and the hog came chasing us or anything like that. So I really didn't have any phenomenal stories on the hog stuff.
Okay. Well, no, that's fine. Now I do got to ask, these could probably be real quick answers. What's the biggest, lion you've ever caught?
Caught a lion that on the scale with no intestines in it, because I couldn't get him to the quad with his guts in him. He was just too big. I got him back to the butcher shop and put him on the scale, and he was 168 pounds without any intestines in him.
Goodness. What about bear?
You know what? Probably some of the bears that we caught down in the south on the auction tag, that those bears were, our Arizona bears don't really get real big. Those bears are right at the 400 mark. We just don't get bruisers in Arizona. Not like you guys that are back there in North Carolina, you guys get them 800 pounders, and we don't get anything like that out here in Arizona. We don't have groceries to feed a bear that big.
Yeah. Okay, well, we are coming towards the end. There is a few more questions I do got to ask you. I just got 3 that I ask everybody. But before we ask those last 3, I want to know your funniest hunting story ever. It doesn't have to be a dog hunting story. It could be deer, anything. It does not matter. Just your funniest hunting story.
Oh, man. I'd have to think on that one. That one's going to be tough. Let me think. My funniest hunting story. You know what? I'm trying to think of something that I have a bunch that are just super funny on that. My little brother, he he was having really tough time his first couple years killing a deer. And I told him, I go, man, we just got to get you in the right spot at the right time and all this. I go, get you a deer. So we get up on this ridge and we're glassing, and I'm looking down and I go, man, there's a buck right down there, and it's a mule deer buck. And he goes, I can shoot that buck. And I go, sure. I go, it's a pretty long shot. He goes, no. He goes, I can shoot him. And I go, okay, because he was using my old rifle. And I go, yeah, that rifle killed him from there. He goes, okay. So he shoots him. And I tell him, I go, man, it's a long ways back to the truck. Let's go down there and we'll dress him out. And I'll take all of the gear and go back to the truck, and you start dragging him back. And he goes, okay. So we go down there, we get him all dressed and get him good. And I take everything that he has and I pack it all out, get down to the truck, and I get back over. Well, my little brother had been hunting a little bit then, but not a bunch, so I didn't know how much, he hadn't really seen all the stuff we have in Arizona, and he had never seen a javelina before. And I get back to the truck, dump my stuff off, grab the stuff, I grab a fresh canteen of water, hit up to him and get to the top. And I get there and he is wide-eyed, just scared to death, and he's sitting on this rock and the deer's on the bottom, and I'm like, what are you doing? And he goes, these things, they come running at me, he goes, and they're popping their teeth and making all this noise. And I go, javelina? And he goes, yeah, those things. He goes, they were all over it. And he was scared. I mean, because I was older than him and had seen him before, it didn't click on me. But that was his first experience with them. And he was really just, he was so just like, oh my gosh, he thought that they were going to grab a hold of him and tote him off and take him off. And I'm like, I go, all you had to do is just run after them and they'd run away. He goes, are you kidding? Those things are popping their teeth and hair standing up. He goes, I'm not chasing one of those things. That was funny as could be for me when I got up there, but for him, it wasn't a funny adventure. It was a life adventure that he'd never forget, but for me, it was just kind of funny that my little brother was scared to death of those. Now, another one with my little brother, I'll tell you, that's a funny adventure. We had this spot that we used to go and shoot these. In Arizona, we squirrel hunt, but we have these little squirrels that have a big white fluffy tail with little tassels on their ear. They're called Albert squirrels, and they hang around the ponderosa pines. They eat the pine nuts out of the pines. Well, we had this little spring that we'd go up to, and he would sit on one side, and I would sit on the other side, and we would shoot squirrels, but we also have band-tailed pigeons that would come in there, and the pigeon season was open, and we go up there. Well, when we get about 3/4 of a mile up this canyon, he would go to the left and I would go to the right. Well, I got up there that morning. We got out of the Jeep and I go, listen. And he goes, what? And I go, man, that's a mountain lion screaming. He goes, that's a mountain lion? I go, yeah, listen. And he hears it and he goes, that's some girl. I go, no, that's a mountain lion. And he goes, that is a mountain lion? I go, yeah, listen, and you'll hear it again. He goes, wow. He goes, I've never heard that. He goes, and you've heard it before. I go, yeah, that's a mountain lion screaming. I go, man, that's cool. Let's go. So we get up there and we get to the point, we all separate. I go, okay, bud. I go, you get to your spot, you get to my spot. He goes, looks at me and he goes, well, we just hunt together today. And I go, Eddie, that lion is not going to come and get you. He goes, I'm not worried about it. I go, Eddie, just go see. He goes, well, we can hunt together today. He did not want to leave my side. And he was still pretty young. He was probably 14, 15 at that time. He did not want to go over there after I told him that lion. That was a lion and they're screaming like that. He's like, yeah, we should hunt together today. Have a better shot with 2 in a bunch than 1 in a bunch. So that was pretty neat on that one too.
That's awesome.
Okay. All right, next question.
Okay, so the next one I got for you is your most memorable hunt.
Oh man, of any kind?
Yes, sir, any kind.
It'd probably have to be the first time I caught a lion with the first dogs that I trained, that I raised from a puppy and went and caught. I'd been using this little brindle dog, cur dog that I got from this guy as a puppy. I'd been using him on coyotes, and we'd caught a few bobcats, and I'd caught some coons with him, and they even had him on some hogs and stuff like that. But I hadn't caught a lion with him, and I came home on Friday from work, and my father-in-law was there, and he goes, I was just at the spring. He goes, there's a smoking fresh lion track there with a big greasy turd in it. It's full of hair. And he goes, that lion's got a kill right there somewhere, and he's watering on that spring. He goes, if you go up there, you could probably catch that lion. And I go, I don't want to shoot a lion this time of year. I go, and I don't want to go catch him. I go, let me call this guy. So I call this guy and go, hey, do you want to shoot a lion? And he goes, yeah, you got one? I go, yeah, maybe. And he goes, all right. He goes, if you want to go catch it. And I go, yeah, we'll go do this. And so I get my two pups, bear and cougar, together, and I go up there, and we get up to the spring, and I'm looking. I go, that lion's been back. I go, that's the scratch that Frank told me about. I go, there's another one there. That lion's been back since he's been in here. And he goes, what are we gonna do? And I go, well, I'm gonna let Bear out because he's got a hotter nose. He won't take an old track, and if he leaves and goes on that, we'll catch this bear. And he goes, all right. So I put him down, and he's smelling like crazy, and finally he lines it out and he takes off. Well, I grab cougar out of the box and dump him on the ground, and they take it and they're going to the south down this ridge. And I go, man, they are flying on that. I go, I hope they're going the track going out and not on the track coming in, because it'll smell the same. And he goes, okay. So we just sit there, and I'm listening, and they're opening every now and then, but they're moving like crazy away from us. And he goes, man, I can barely hear them. And then all of a sudden they fall off the rim, and they go into the side of the canyon. And I go over to the side, and I go, man, they caught him. They've got him treed. Let's go. So we go down that rim about 3/4 of a mile, and we get over there, and they've got this pretty nice tom lion in a tree. And that was probably, of all the things I've ever done, that I trained that dog from a puppy, and he caught me that lion. That's got to be I've killed some great big elk and great big deer and great big antelope and, lions and bears and all kinds of stuff. But that's probably my most memorable favorite hunt forever, is catching a lion that I trained the dog by myself.
That's awesome. Now, that goes into our next question, kind of ish, not fully, but your favorite dog of all time. And you can only pick one.
Yeah, that, like I said, that'd probably have to be Kong. He was just one of those ones that, he could do stuff that, for me, Gus is really close now, and he's getting old up there. I just didn't hunt him as hard and as often as I hunted Kong, but Kong was one of those ones that, he could just, you could just turn him loose, and you're pretty sure you're going to have something at the end of the day or the end of the trail or something with that dog. He was pretty special. And like I said, he was tough, he's gritty, he's fast, he rigged, he treed, he decoyed. I mean, he just did everything. He was just everything, and he was, everybody that ever met him liked him. I mean, he liked everybody. That was my biggest fear, was losing him, because he rode in my truck, he rode in my buddy's truck, and if anybody would ever come across him, and when we got him lost on a bear hunt, they would have picked him up, put him in their truck, and they would have loved him right away, and I'd have never got him back. He was just one of those super exceptional dogs that, like I said, he could do it all. He was the one that, when you asked me the other day about, I was telling you that he preferred decoy and coyotes because he loved killing coyotes. That dog was something special. I mean, when we put him on a bear track, take a bear, but in the morning, if you rigged a bear and you had all your dogs blown up on a box, sometimes you'd get coyotes yipping out there. And if it took me a few times to figure it out, but if there were coyotes yipping out there and we put Kong on the ground and we caught that bear, Kong was never at the bear tree. He would just go straight to those coyotes because he knew he could get one to follow him and he could turn around, grab it, and kill that coyote. Or he was hoping he could do that. He loved killing coyotes, and that was, so we kind of had to read things going on. If we had coyotes yipping, I kept him in the box till we got around somewhere else so we could dump him into the race where he could hear the dogs and no coyotes going. That was the only thing that. And it wasn't a bad thing because he decoyed coyotes for me, but he loved killing coyotes. That was his forte. That was a big thing. He had the most fun in the world when he was chewing on a coyote and killing it.
That's awesome. That is. So we got our final question. It's going to be, and maybe you can, if nobody's quite sure who he is, maybe you can enlighten us a little bit more. But who was your mentor when you got into all this?
Man, I really didn't have anybody that like I said, when I first started out, I kind of hunted with Randy Epperson and hunted with a couple other guys that, I'd in and out. I really didn't have one that I went with all the time, I just didn't have anybody that I was solid on and went with all the time, one certain person. I did different guys. And like I said, when I first started out, when I first had that first little cougar cur dog, I didn't have anybody around at that time to, kind of tell me this, that, or, what to do. It was just kind of my own thing. After I got into the curs, I had my buddy Bruce that I gave him a cur pup named Cougar, and he raised him and he died at his house, and I bred to him many, many times, and we hunted a lot together. But it wasn't like he mentored me or I mentored. We just hunted a lot together. I'd call Daryl Fry. We'd talk about things like that. I'd call David and David Hayes. We'd talk about a bunch of different things and things like hunting dogs and stuff. But I really did not have a certain person that was, that one that I could say, yeah, he told me how to do this or this or this. One of the ones that I would ask a lot when I was younger was an old-time trapper that lived here in Kingman. He was an ADC guy, and I would ask him, about this spot or this spot or this spot, and he would let me know, yeah, you go to here, and this is where you'll find lion scratches. Well, they'll go here, and that guy was a pretty exceptional guy. His name was Bernie Lawrence, and he was a really, really great person, a wealth of information that you could just listen to him, and he would tell you all this stuff, and after being with some of those different guys just a few different times, and picking up on what they do, it helped out a lot in kind of reading a lion, where a lion you'd look in some country and go, man, that spot right there's where a lion would scratch, and you'd go there and sure as heck, there's a lion hitting that area because there's a lion scratch there. And so you'd know how to get to that stuff. But, like I said, I just don't really have anybody that was, took me under their wing and wanted me to make me into some great hunter or anything like that. I didn't have anybody to do that for me.
No, that's understandable. I like the way you answered it. It was very professional, and like I said, Mr. Cal, I appreciate you coming on. I would like to get you on again in the future. We can talk about that later, but I would love to cover some more stories. It's amazing to hear from somebody like you, and I really do appreciate you taking the time out to sit down with me for an hour or so and do this. Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Nope, I think we covered pretty much everything, and I'm glad that I got to do this for you, and I hope that anybody that's listening, if they need in, maybe in the future you'll have some other questions you want answered or something. We'll work on that at another time, hopefully.
Yes, sir. That's my plan. People usually message me, and I get so many built up, and I'll put it in a little note section, and then I'll reach out to you again and say, hey, I got this many questions that need answered, stuff like that. So in the future, we can work something out if that works with you. I appreciate you once again, sir. Thank you very much. I know it takes time to do this, but that's all I've got.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Yep. We'll talk to you later, Mr. Cal.
All right. See ya.
That's going to wrap it up for this episode of Tusks and Tails. We really appreciate every single one of y'all that tunes in, supports the show, and supports the people and dogs that make this lifestyle. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you like it, share it, and leave a review. I know that gets boring, y'all. To hear that from every single podcast, I don't care. Reach out, say, Alan, your dogs suck. Leave a comment like that. Follow us on every single social media platform. Talk crap to me. I don't care, y'all, but I want some feedback. Let me know what I'm doing wrong so I can make it better for all of y'all. But until next time, hunt hard, take care of your dogs, and never forget about what it is really about. This is Tusks and Tails. We'll see y'all in the woods. Love every one of y'all.